Good afternoon. Today is the 21st of October, and it's time to do a 3,000 mile ownership report on this 2006 Volvo S40 2.4 ISE Geartronic. I'm afraid I was going to get this car cleaned and I was going to wait for a sunny day to do this, but actually today I find this strange phenomenon where I've got tons of reviews, so to put out about 20 reviews, and I don't have much else. So I could have waited maybe another day to do this, but I'm going to have to do it today. I hope you don't mind. The car is filthy and it is raining, but there just hasn't really been any opportunity to sort of clean it, because I've cleaned it to get filthy again, so you're going to have to just cope with the way it is. So yes, I bought this from a chap who's also in the Portsmouth section of the Volvo Owners Club, chap who actually looked after this car really well. It's had a cam belt done in 2020. That's not due for, I think it's sort of 80,000 miles or 10 years or something like that. It's done 107,000 miles. I got it on 104, and those miles have come through in about 2.5 months. So I've been doing really long trips in this car. Went to the Peak District in it, went to Chelmsford in it, went to Herefordshire in it, the Beale Autumn Rally, Ian Seabrook's Hub Not Social event, just all kinds of different things. So yes, it's a 2.4 5-cylinder white block engine in this. It's a very similar engine to the one that was in the contemporary Ford Focus ST and RS, although nowhere near as powerful as those. This is the normally aspirated engine, and it's 100cc or so smaller. It's a 2.4 rather than 2.5, and it generates about 167 horsepower. It makes a great noise though, and it's got loads and loads of torque. Amazingly, I've been averaging on a motorway about 40 miles per gallon. Generally it's about 33. If you don't go on the motorway all the time, it drops a bit, but it says about 33 over the course of 3,000 miles. Depends what sort of driving you're doing. So this is a pre-facelift car. They came out in 2004 and they were made until 2012. The previous generation S40, which was based on the Mitsubishi Charisma platform, was the predecessor to this, but there's no engineering really in common, unless you sort of say that the 4-cylinder white block that was actually made for the first generation S40 is a variant of this. It sort of is, it's a modular engine, but really there's not much in common between the two generations. This is based on Volvo's sort of elongated version of the Mark II Ford Focus platform, and actually, unlike a Mark II Focus, or actually a C30, which is also on the same platform, the V50, C70 and S40 Mark II, they don't rust really at all. I've never seen a rusty one ever. The C30, because it's more closely related to the Focus, is not the elongated platform where Volvo made some changes to it. Those can rust, and there's a video on No Budget Reviews coming up of one of those that I filmed in September. So the boot has a very weird aperture. It's got very nice sort of, I actually need to use the key because I only used the driver's door opening, so I need to just unlock all of it. There we go, it's probably worked now. There we go. It's got a very unusual kind of opening. It's very small. We've got this lovely sort of cantilever mechanism on it, which is lovely, but the opening's quite small. Now, it does seem to be a bit of a problem, but actually the boot's really deep. It goes all the way back, and you can fold the seats as well. There's a bit of space underneath here. You lift it up, and actually there's the locking wheel nut key and things. We've actually just changed the front brake pads on this, so I did have to find that. This car has got parking sensors. Actually, it's a very well-equipped car for the time indeed, which is good. It's a nice, comfy car as well. The one thing I would say about this is, one, the rear space is quite limited. There's really not much. In fact, sit my seat all the way back. There's not a lot of space behind there, really, which isn't great. Also, these window tints were done by the previous owner for his grandchildren, and they're very well done. They are superb, but ideally I wouldn't want them, but we're just going to leave them because that's going to be a pain to take off, so we're actually going to leave those, even though they're not original to the car. Interior, some people have said it's beige. It's really like an olive colour, but it'll do. I like the wood and things, and it's a very comfortable seat. Electric seats, they're heated, 2-stage heated, memory seats. Interestingly enough, because this is rated to the Mark II Focus, you'd expect loads of kind of Ford bits in here, but the only thing I can think of which is possibly shared with a Mark II Focus is the handbrake. I don't think anything else is. Yeah, it's filthy in here, I do apologise. Left the sunroof and that works. Air conditioning does not. I still need to get the air conditioning radiator replaced, which is about £400. I have had a quote for it. I need to get that done. I also need to fix the CD player and somehow sort out the Bluetooth as well. There is a Parrot kit that was used for Bluetooth in this car previously. I don't know if I can reinstate that. I'm not really sure. I need to speak to an auto electrician actually to see if that will work well enough to do business miles on it, because I've done a lot of miles in it. A lot of miles. I did, I think, 2,000 miles in the first 6 weeks in this. So it's on 107, and don't want Bluetooth modes. Turn that down. Turn that down. Don't want any copyright infringement on this channel. Right. So if we go through here. So I might just put it in there. So we'll close, dismiss that warning, and then there goes my average speed, average fuel economy, and my tank range, which is a bit weird on this car. You can get anything between 400 and 600 miles to a tank. It depends on how you drive it, which is weird. Very, very sort of early 2000s kind of instrument display, and very sort of early 2000s Volvo indicator and wiper stalks. The lights in this car are really strange. So typical Volvo, the lights are on when the ignition's on and you're driving, but it's not just the side lights, it's actually the dipped beam as well. So if you put it in that position or that position, they're basically the same, but the only difference is that if you put it in the top position, it means you can operate the main beam flasher and keep it on main beam. If you just, that you can only operate the flasher, you can't operate the main beam. Fog lights are there, remote fuel flap release is there. I find the fuel cap itself, not the flap, the cap, really annoying. It's a really tight one, and I've just found out difficulty filling up, which is really strange. Yeah, so this is okay. It's nothing too exciting here. Some of the higher spec models actually had a colour screen sat nav which came out of a dash. This one doesn't have that. We do have in here though is, oh hello, we've got a green sea turtle in here. What are you doing hiding in there? Naughty boy. I suppose it shows how spacious the glove box is, because the door pockets are absolutely pathetic. They are absolutely, utterly pathetic in this car. They're tiny, which isn't very good. Right, stay there. So my olive interior is a bit damp now, viewers. I should have closed that door earlier. One thing, it's very hard to show this because there's only me here, but if you are sort of doing enthusiastic steering, you can actually bang your elbow against just there. It's easy to do that. Also, this steering wheel is really, really big. It's comically big. You don't need a wheel this big. And I think it probably dulls for handling a little bit, because Mark II Focus or this, or the C70 or the C30 or the V50, they're nice cars to drive, but they don't have anywhere near the steering feel of my old Volvo 45 V6, which of course is a much older design, about 10 years older really. It dates back to the sort of early to mid 90s at Volvo 45. But that's one thing I noticed on a test drive when I was, thinking of buying it. There's the Owners Club sticker there, of course. We are the Volvo Owners Club, and one of the Lloyd Beer Consulting stickers as well on the front. I have to put it there because it can't go in the back, because you can't see it because the windows are tinted. But yeah, the seal was a bit big. There's not enough feel through the wheel ideally for me, but because I do a lot of commuting in this car, and it's really comfortable and surprisingly good on fuel, about 40 miles per gallon on the motorway, because the engine's very lazy and cruises at 2400 RPM at 70 with this automatic gearbox, then you kind of don't necessarily need better steering feel. It's just the way that it goes. Right, let's have a look at that 2.4 engine then. So here is the later version of the 5-cylinder white block. So it looks very different from the earlier type. Ford did make some changes to it, and actually we've got Ford Motor Company strut top kind of bits here, which is interesting. It does mean though that when you come to replace front brake pads, which we have done, a decent quality kit, Borg and Beck, £25 for a set of front brake pads, because they're exactly the same as a 2-litre Focus. Airfoil's a little bit of a pain. As you can see, it's quite sort of tight up against the front of the engine here. There's the cam belt sticker. Yeah, it's done in 2020, so it is a little bit patched. Not too bad. We've just topped up the coolant. Again, it's a Ford part there, but it's not really a problem. It just means that actually a lot of the parts on this car are cheaper than they otherwise would be, which means actually these are quite good cars to have. You see tons of C30s and S40s and V50s still on the road, and they're quite old cars. They're all discontinued in 2012. C70s not so much because they were a bit more expensive and their folding roofs go wrong. Hopefully we can actually get one of the channel that doesn't have a broken folding roof, which is what I was going to film last month, but I didn't because the roof was broken. But yes, it's a nice car. We'll be keeping this for some time to come, and Alex Mazgas has driven this. She didn't find it particularly exciting, but you know, she's driven it. Mr. Richard Furious Driving is going to have this on his channel at some point, I think. We're just trying to work that out. Whether or not he'll find it a bit unexciting, I don't know. It's not a T5 or anything. You could get one of those, and I do hope to try one actually at some point. We'll see how they compare. Anyway, thank you so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like us in the comment below, and we shall see you again soon for more, I don't know, not particularly interesting ownership reports.